All right, let's say that if I have a function, let's say y is equal to a times e to the bx, okay? Now, how can I write this exponential function into the form y is equal to mx plus b? So I want to rewrite an exponential function by sort of converting it into a linear function somehow. So how can I do this? Well, for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take ln on both sides. So I'm just going to have ln of y is equal to ln of a times e to the bx. Now remember back from your exponent kind of logarithm multiplication kind of property that log of a times b. So if you have ln of a times b, it's going to be equal to ln of a plus ln of b, like so. Therefore, I can rewrite this as ln of y is equal to ln of a plus ln of e to the bx. However, this ln and this e cancels out, so you're just going to be left with this bx. So you're just going to have ln of a plus bx. Or let's actually rewrite it as ln of y is equal to bx plus ln of a. And there you go. You have sort of turned this exponential function into a linear function in the form of y is equal to mx plus b. Look at this. So we have y is equal to mx plus b. This ln of y is basically our new y. This b right over here represents basically our new slope. This ln of a represents our y-intercept now, right? So doing this, well, maybe for our original graph, right? Maybe some of y'all know that this is an exponential function. So let's say if the exponential function looks something like this, right? Let's see if it looks something like this. Y is equal to a times e to the bx. However, once we have linearized it, so actually, let me do this. So remember that this is a function of x. So as x changes, right? As x changes, our y value changes, right? So this is going to be the graph for y is equal to a times e to the bx, right? As x changes, y changes. However, if we look at this graph right over here, ln of y is equal to bx plus ln of a. How's this graph going to look like? Well, we're still going to have x on our x-axis, right? Because that's still there. But now on our y-axis, we're going to have ln of y. Remember, ln of y basically represents our new y, right? And in fact, this is actually going to be a linear relationship. So it's going to look something like this, right? Because there's a constant slope. And in this case, the slope is actually b. So this b right over here represents our slope. Remember b back in our original function? It basically represents the growth rate or the decay rate in some cases. But let's just say the growth rate for this case because our function is growing, right? So in this case, this b right over here represents the growth rate, or in this case, the slope for this linear function. And you will see this in chemistry. So for like the first order reaction, stuff like that, you will be dealing with relationships like these where it looks weird at first, but you just have to realize that this is right over here is in the form of y is equal to mx plus b. That's all.